Quick, what was your very first game you ever played? Whether it be a computer game, a console game, an arcade game, I don't care. You let me know in the comment section. With the amount of graphical advancements happening every single year in gaming, it's pretty common for games that once looked amazing to end up looking kind of like crap, honestly. But every once in a while, there are games that shine through. They stand the test of time and end up looking so great still by today's standards in the current gaming world. And that's what we're going to look at. What is up, everybody? Chaos here. We're going to go over some games that aged very, very well, and they still actually look great to this day. Better than some of your current games. Be sure to let me know what game you think stand the test of time the most. Drop a like, and let's get into it. At number 10, we're going to start with Resident Evil 4. This is a survival horror classic all the way back from 2005 that not only revolutionized third-person shooters, but it also made huge steps forward for video game visuals. Resident Evil 4 definitely isn't a beautiful game, but it actually still looks great by today's standards due to it taking a very grounded approach to the visual style. The monster design of RE4 is also incredible and still has some of the most terrifying monsters in gaming history, all of which were greatly enhanced by the realism of the visuals. And it's actually pretty interesting to note that throughout the years, with all the reissues and the re-releases of RE4 that Capcom has actually done, they haven't really changed the visuals all that much because honestly, well, they never really had to. I think it's a good way to start this list. Next up is Portal, released all the way back in 2007. This first-person puzzle game from Valve kind of came out of nowhere as nobody was really expecting something like this from them, and they definitely weren't expecting it to be one of the best games of all time. Portal has you playing as a character going through a series of tests done by a strange AI called GLaDOS, and the puzzles, well, they get increasingly more difficult as you start to learn more and more about what is actually going on. Portal's level design is still some of the best of all time to this day, and due to a very simple visual design and sleek-looking environments and robots, well, the game still looks pretty darn good today. Sure, there's a few places where it wouldn't hurt to touch them up, but for what it was trying to do, Portal was fantastic, and it's still one of the best puzzle games ever made. At number 8, Team Fortress 2. Now, TF2 is an extremely popular class-based FPS released by Valve more than 10 years ago, and it's still one of the most popular games on Steam right now. But when you look at the game, it's actually pretty easy to forget that it was released back in 2007. Due to its cartoony art style, Team Fortress 2 still looks good. It stood the test of time as if they were released today. I've seen games released in the last 2 months that don't look this good, so you wouldn't think twice about the visuals, and it also helps that the gameplay of TF2 is super solid and still fun and free, might I add, which explains why thousands of people play it every single day, and if you haven't played TF2, give it a try. Once again, it's free. This month's giveaway is for a new PlayStation 4 console. All you have to do to enter is drop a like on this video, be subscribed to the channel, and turn on your notifications so you never miss an upload. And in the comment section, let me know why you want to win the PS4 and include your Twitter handle so I can contact you if you're the winner. The winner will be announced at the end of the month. At number 7, we have Shadow of the Colossus. Now, this is a legendary PS2 game that was released back in 2005 to critical acclaim, with many calling it one of the best games ever made. You played as a young boy traveling the world, you were trying to slay various giant monsters in order to save the life of a young girl. Very noble of him, right? The monster fights were fantastically designed, but what really gets this game on the list is the absolute world design. Shadow of the Colossus looked amazing by the standards of that day, and it still holds up today. It was somewhat recently remastered. The remaster looks great as well, but the original version is what gets it on the list because honestly, Sony could have just re-released the original version with very, very slight alterations and changes, and they would have been fine. Shadow of the Colossus looks amazing, and its world is still as immersive as ever. At number 6, and hear me out on this, okay? Super Mario World. Now, I know, Super Mario World isn't exactly a super amazing looking game in terms of realism, but in terms of a 3D Mario game, it's honestly probably the best looking one ever made. And keep in mind, this game was made in 1990, people. Super Mario World was a launch title for the Super NES, and it quickly became regarded as the best in the series, a belief that many people still hold to this day, and I may be one of them. I don't know, Super Mario 3, Super Mario World, I'm torn. But this one introduced a ton of great mechanics to the Mario series and refined all the existing ones into something amazing. And if you ask me, it's the best looking 2D Mario game Nintendo has ever put out, and that includes all the modern games. There's just something about the art style, the music, the level design, everything about Super Mario World that I honestly think it will stand the test of time. Cracking in to the top 5. Metal Gear Solid 3 Snake Eater. Many consider Snake Eater to be the best in the entire MGS series. You let me know if you agree or disagree in the comments, and that's saying a lot, considering how great pretty much all the games are. But the story and the gameplay aren't the only things that make Snake Eater so memorable, although those were good too. Snake Eater featured great visuals that, much like Resident Evil 4, they were designed to be realistic as possible back then, and they managed to even look pretty good to this day. Now, it is hard to make realistic graphics that hold up throughout the years, but Metal Gear Solid 3 did it all the way back on the PlayStation 2 console back in 2004, which that's pretty incredible. Okay, at number 4, Kingdom Hearts. Are you hyped for Kingdom Hearts 3? I had to put this game on the list. Now, Kingdom Hearts definitely doesn't look too great today from a character model standpoint for the human characters. I get that. But what earned it a spot on today's list is the Disney worlds and the characters. Kingdom Hearts managed to almost perfectly recreate all of our famous Disney worlds and characters in the game to a pixel-perfect degree. And even today, more than 16 years after this game was released, these sections of Kingdom Hearts still look and sound exactly as they should. So yes, I get it. The human character models are dated. I understand that. The animated parts of the game, though, are perfect, and they still look amazing today, and they'll probably look amazing 10 years from now. At number 3, we have a strategy game all the way back in 1999 for the PC. Age of Empires 2. Considered by many gamers to be one of the best and most immersive strategy games of all time, it was set during the Middle Ages and it had 13 different civilizations that you could control yourself and command as you created armies and you take down the forces of other civilizations through 5 different campaigns. This was a deep game, people. Civilization 2 looks good for a game from 1999, and with the mods installed, well, it looks even better. But even just in the standard version, Age of Empires 2 is a fantastic game. And if you're a fan of RTS games, but you haven't played this one, you need to add it to your to-do list. But be careful, because you're gonna go down a rabbit hole and you may not come back out. At number 2, Silent Hill 2. Considered by a lot of people to be one of the best horror games of all time, and even one of the best video game stories, period, ever told, it was released for the PlayStation 2 in 2001, and it told the story of a man in a creepy town filled with monsters that were all created from his own subconsciousness. Now, the game's atmosphere is perhaps the greatest in gaming history, and part of that was due to the visuals. Horror games are tricky when it comes to visuals because if the graphics are bad or they don't hold up, it's hard to take the game seriously and it's not immersive, and that means, guess what? It's not scary anymore. But when you play Silent Hill 2 today, it's still absolutely terrifying because of the amazing world design, the sound design, the creatures, the visuals, all of it. It all immersed you into the game better than any other game I could think of. If you get your hands on an OG copy of Silent Hill 2, give it a playthrough. Just be sure to avoid the HD collection version on the PS3 and the 360 because those are awful. And we've reached the number 1 spot today, and most of you probably already know the answer to this. I have to give it the number 1 spot. I would be doing it injustice if I didn't. Crysis. Yes, absolutely. A first-person shooter developed by Crytek, who unfortunately went bankrupt and released for the PC in 2007, and the main draw of it was its visuals. Crysis was by far the most advanced game of its time, and it reportedly had over 1 million lines of code, 85,000 shaders, and a full gigabyte worth of texture data. Crysis looks stunning, and it still looks stunning to this day. And although the later games in the series toned down the visuals in order to run on consoles, the original game on PC is one of the most incredible games you'll ever see, especially if you're running it on maximum settings. Crysis has even been said to give some lower-end modern PCs trouble running it at maximum settings. So if you're a PC gamer and you like some good eye candy, you get Crysis and just play around in it. Then keep in mind that this thing was released more than a decade ago, people. Definitely deserving of the number 1 spot today. And there you have it. Those are 10 video games that aged very, very well. And that's not easy to do because there's a lot of video games that don't age very well. If you guys enjoyed the video, take a second, drop a like, make sure you're subscribed, turn on those notifications so you never miss an upload, and I'll see you guys soon.